Thank you everyone for joining us today for today's session, the key to boosting conversions and maximizing your LTV. My name is Melissa Weir and I'm with Spently by Pantastic. And I'm so excited to share with you that we have Harshal Jain, CEO and founder of GLOOD. So Harshal, tell us a little bit more about yourself and some of your experience.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you everyone for joining in. So I'm founder and CEO of GLOOD.AI, and I have been in the CRO and the e-commerce industry for about 7 years. Before founding GLOOD, I was working with Flipkart, the largest e-commerce company in India. So I'm so glad to be here and we want to help you boost your conversions and maximize your LTV.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you. And before we get into the content today, we're going to share just a little bit more about, Spently by Pantastic, as well as GLOOD, just so you guys have some context before we get into the session. So a little bit about Pantastic. We're on a mission to give D2C brands the superpowers they need in order to scale and grow their business. So we have 3 Shopify apps. The first one is, of course, Spently, and Spently helps you increase your repeat purchase rate by optimizing your transactional emails. So transactional emails are your order confirmations, your shipping updates, account welcomes, all of those things that Shopify automatically has for you, but are not automatically optimized. So you can include elements of personalization and other marketing components to boost your repeat purchase rate and get those numbers up. And CartHook is a post-purchase offer tool. And so when a customer submits an order, before they reach the thank you page, they'll see a post-purchase offer. And those can be personalized to what that person just purchased, meaning that they can get a complimentary recommendation, something that's in alignment with what they purchased. And what you can do is boost your AOV this way. It's really effective to get that AOV up and give you more ROI on every customer that converts on your site. And then the final app is Shop, which is a D2C network that independent brands can be listed on in order to find new customers for their independent brands. So Harshal, I'll let you share a little bit more about GLOOD.
Yeah. So GLOOD.AI is a complete personalization experience platform. Our leading AI and ML models, they constantly try to understand customer behavior and try to find the most relevant product or content for those visitors. Ultimately, this results in an increase in the conversion rate and revenue.
Awesome. And a little bit more about how these tools work as well later. Absolutely. But before we jump into the how-tos, a little housekeeping and agenda. So today we'll kind of level set on what buyers are really expecting from brands today, backed by data. We'll talk about how to personalize your customer experience, a little hint that that's what customers are expecting from you today. We'll share some best practices from the experts and brands who are doing an incredible job of this across the customer lifecycle. And then we'll move into a live QA session. A little housekeeping before we jump into the first section is all attendees are on mute. And if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to just write them into the Q&A and we can take those questions at the end of the webinar. And you will receive the recording. So after this webinar wraps, you can get this content and reference it as you like. Harshal, take it away.
All right. So we're going to talk about personalization. What exactly is personalization? So when our visitors come to the website, we have a lot of products and a lot of content to offer, but it becomes very difficult to pinpoint which products or which content a person might be interested in. So the personalization is all about understanding user behavior, understanding what they want, and try to show them the relevant content. One thing we have to keep in mind is personalization and understanding user behavior is difficult. They may come to your store for different reasons, whether it is to purchase a product or they could just be exploring different and new unique products. Okay, so someone who visits a website a couple of months back may visit it again to purchase an entirely different product. This is where real-time personalization helps. It tries to understand user behavior, tries to understand what they are interested in at this point in time, and then shows them relevant content. You see the graphics. We have for user personas on one end, we have multiple products on one end, and it is trying to match users to products, trying to figure out which products they actually match to a single user. So this is what we mean by personalization. Okay. So there are numerous studies that have actually taken place, and they all mention that personalization is important. You can refer to one of them, which is 91% of consumers are more likely to purchase from brands who remember them and who provide them with relevant offers. We talk about Amazon, Amazon has driven over 35% of the entire revenue through personalized recommendations. So these are different stats that reaffirm that personalization is something which works, which can help users in increasing conversions and growing the store.
91% is a pretty powerful number. So it's no surprise that customers are not likely to come back, obviously, when they're not getting what they expect. So the bottom line is that online shoppers expect personalization. I think, Harshal, you have an excellent example in Amazon, and really a lot of people are buying from Amazon. And so what can you do to kind of give them a similar experience that they're already expecting and already have experienced on other retailers? So we're going to further define personalization. I know Harshal gave you guys painted a great picture about what it can look like, how customers come to your site, and how to anticipate what they're looking for. But Harshal, why don't you break it down for us in some bullets so that we can really understand how you know when you've achieved this?
So ultimately, personalization is about connecting with your visitors. It is about creating a connection with people who are coming onto your store, understanding what they are looking for, what the requirement is, and then recommend them the content based on that. It could be recommending a product, it could be recommending them discounts, could be recommending them different banners, and so on. So that the whole lot of things which actually go into this. But ultimately, what stays is that we are trying to understand the visitors, trying to connect with them at a one-to-one level, so that even when they go away from the website, they still remember us. And when they are in need of a product, they will come back and buy it from you. So it could be anticipating customer needs. It could be delivering relevant product offers, could be anything from, let's say, even when we talk about visitors coming on to the website, showing them the content based on, let's say, where they've come from, could be based on the geography, could be based on a specific city, and so on.
All right. So Harshal, you mentioned this a little bit in the last slide, but tell us a little bit more about how you can, some of the ways that you can kind of trigger personalization based off of different attributes.
All right. So it depends on the different touch points. We're going to talk about it in the later slides as well. There are multiple ways in which a person who's visiting on the website can experience personalization even without them explicitly knowing about it. For example, if someone is coming from a different country, localization, the language is a kind of personalization. The products they're seeing on the website, they could be personalized. For example, someone coming from Miami would be interested in a sunscreen lotion, versus someone who's coming from Seattle might not be. So these are different kind of product recommendation personalizations on the website. And then we have personalized discount. Personalized discount is basically, there are marketers who are trying to figuring out, or who always try to figure out whether a 10% discount will work or fetch them more revenue versus a 15% discount. So these are different type of personalization that one can experience throughout the journey without a person or visitors even realizing that the content they're seeing is actually personalized, ultimately giving them a very good experience.
Right. I love the example you used about sunscreen. I think it's so relevant, and something that, a lot of brands, I think, want to do, but maybe don't know how to start, or, maybe what tools to use. So let's kind of dive in to that later in the session. But this is not like a new concept at all. You can see by some of these stats that I think a lot of brands want to do this personalization, but it's really, can be intimidating. And I know, Harshal, you've worked with, a lot of brands who've started on their journey. So tell us a little bit more about maybe how to get started and how to think about this.
You're absolutely right. So personalization is something which is not new. It has been in existence for decades. Amazon has been doing it for over 2 decades now, and they've seen extremely good results, which is why everyone wants to personalize content. Everyone wants to use some sort of AI and machine learning to figure out the right content. But what differs, if we talk about different brands, the one which is doing or gaining a lot from personalization versus the brand which is not doing or not gaining so much. Those are the implementations, how you really implement personalization. That is what matters the most. There are different touch points, like we mentioned in previous slides. One can actually see personalization in different marketing channels, or could see on site, which we're going to talk about in depth in the later slides. But depending on the touch points, there can be different implementation of personalization. Okay? The same technology that is being used by Amazon and other retailers. That same technology is available with every D2C brands, the much cheaper price today, and they all can take advantage of that. The only thing is implementing the right strategy, because strategies can vary based on the channels, and it differs a lot. So having those right technologies, having the right implementation is very important at a given touch point.
Right. And also too, it's like, you're not alone. A lot of people feel this way when it comes to personalization. And so our goal is really to kind of help you, showing you some strategies and obviously, giving you the tools in order to achieve this.
All right. So I think we've touched upon these in the previous slides. So let's define them, what exactly they are. So there are three different journeys, three different touch points that a customer goes through. One is on-site experience. So on-site experience is all about when someone visits your website, what kind of experience they get. That is the on-site experience. Then we have off-site experience and off-site personalization. Offset personalization could be promotional emails, transactional emails, web push notifications, anything which is not on the website, could be mobile notifications, so on. So that is some which we call as off-site personalization or off-site experience. Then we have post-purchase experience. Now, post-purchase is once somebody has purchased a product. It could be the delivery, could be how the product is when they receive the product, could be all the flows that come after that, could be the upselling journeys, could be the returns journey, and so on. So there's so many things that happens after an order has been placed. So that is what we call as post-purchase. So these are three different journeys, three different touch points where we can use personalization to give a much better experience. Now, one implementation detail that generally D2C brands actually miss is they try to personalize all three of them, but they miss the part that they have to give an omni-channel experience. The experience should not differ on-site. It should not be something else during the off-site journey, and something entirely different in the post-purchase journey. The experience should remain consistent throughout all these journeys, and this is something which we call as omni-channel personalization. This is one very important factor that helps a brand in increasing revenue, because if we talk about today's market conditions, people are not spending as much, but when the spending starts, and it will, it's just a matter of when, people will remember. They're going to come back and they're going to remember the brands which were showing them relevant content, relevant products, and relevant discounts.
And this is really about creating like a lifelong relationship with these customers. It's not just about getting them to convert or getting them to upsell. This is really about building relationships, and keeping that consistent throughout really builds trust. And like Harshal's saying, when you're wanting your customer base to come back and purchase more versus trying to convert new customers, this is really, really critical to your business. So let's dive into on-site personalization first. And hear a little bit more about it and some examples from brands that are doing this well.
So on-site personalization is all about when a person comes to your website, what kind of experience you are giving him. The person can visit the website for various reasons and from various channels. The person could be just browsing through the internet and will find your website, could have come onto the website from particular ad, and then they can land on any page, could land on home page, product page, cart page, or category page. So depending on these channels, it is very essential that we show them the right content. Someone who is coming onto the website for a second time after a 2-month gap would probably expect that you remember what they were here for a month back, a couple of months back. And then it may also differ based on whether they made a purchase 2 months back or not. For example, if you are a fashion store and someone purchased a jeans from you, and if they come back after 2 months, probably you can recommend them. You can actually cross sell different other categories. You can actually cross sell shirts, tops, and so on. So these are different type of personalization depending on where they're coming from and where they're going to. If someone is coming on to the category page, so they're landing on a specific category, which means they're actually interested in a particular category. So you can recommend them products from within the same category, try to convert them for a single product. Once they have added the product to the cart, then you move on to different journeys, which could be upselling journeys or cross-selling journeys. So on-site personalization is all about trying to figure out where the person is coming from, what are they looking for, and then fulfilling that requirement. This is one of the examples. If you talk about this particular store, the first thing that you'll see here is there's a message return over there, which is welcome back, Harshal. So as soon as someone logs in, they try to give a personalized message, which mentions your name, and then it says your favorites. So as soon as I see my favorites, basically I'm thinking, okay, these are the products that I generally like. And this is an FMCG store. So these are the products which I am more inclined to buy. Probably it's a replenishment cycle, which is just finished. So I want to replenish some of these products, or I was browsing some of these products probably a week back. So these products are there for me to just add to cart and then move on to the checkout and complete the purchase. And at the bottom, you see a personalized CTA which says add last orders to cart. So it says, hey, we know what you're looking for. We know what you purchased in the past, and you can add those products directly to cart without having to rebuild your entire cart. So everything, every touch point on this particular page is personalized and is giving the right message that, hey, we understand you, we know you, what you're looking for, and then we want you to finish your job as soon as possible without having to spend too much time on this particular page. Check out, purchase, and get the products delivered. Another type of personalization is personalized for you. So this is a beauty brand, and you can see the product. So when someone in cosmetics, especially, people try to purchase multiple products at the same time from the same site, essentially not at the same time. So they purchased a product today, they might come back a week later to purchase something else. So personalized for you is very important to showcase, hey, we know what you want, we know your behavior, and we're trying to recommend you the right products. One thing that one has to keep in mind is that when we talk about real-time personalization, we're trying to combine the historical data and the current behavior to find the relevant products. Sometimes you will see that a lot of personalization engines, they're giving a lot of importance to historical data and not giving so much importance to the current behavior. And that leads to a very bad experience. So we have to make sure that we are giving very good insight with showing relevant products based on the recent behavior.
Right. And I think this is also, about frictionless experience, right? So if you're able to recommend something that a customer is likely to purchase, you're taking away a few steps, right? Some less barrier to entry for that conversion. So that can be really powerful when you get somebody to come back to just kind of remove some of those barriers and push them through the conversion funnel.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving into offsite personalization. So again, this is anything that's not on your website. And I think the best example here is leveraging your email channels. So outside of your traditional promotional emails or newsletters or sales emails, there's a lot of emails throughout the customer journey that are really, really important to customize and personalize. And we'll talk about some of those in this section and actually also in the post-purchase section. But for this section, let's talk about, account welcome emails, forget password emails, and then of course, your promotional emails. But these emails are really important when a customer is just getting started with you. So they create their account. They really want to understand a little bit more about the brand. Maybe they're looking to purchase something immediately, which is why they created the account. There's a lot of opportunities to optimize those messages to create a consistent journey with the brand and also what they're trying to purchase, so that, again, you're removing barriers to entry and you're creating a really great relationship right out the gate. So here's some examples of what that can look like. So this is a brand, Craft Mix, and this is their account welcome email. So when you sign up, you get something that's really well branded, and you also get the opportunity to include product recommendations here. So, maybe you don't know a ton about this customer yet because they're just creating an account. This is a great opportunity to introduce products that they may not have seen on your site and get them to interact with them. So you can start to learn more about what they're looking for, and then start to anticipate their needs in the future. And this is an email that is, every store sends, that has an account function, and is something that is often overlooked, but really, really powerful when you think about personalizing the customer journey. And the next one is abandoned checkout emails. And so let's say somebody has created an account, they're about to make a purchase, but they abandoned their checkout. You obviously want to recover that sale and get them to come back and purchase. But it's also a great opportunity to include personalization and also other product recommendations that they might be likely to buy to increase that order value before they make that purchase. So in this example, you have Hat Heaven, and they have a hat. So they're reminding you to make that purchase, but they're also including an incentive here. And you can see that it's personalized with the customer's name. So showing that they know exactly who the customer is, what they've left in their checkout, and then also giving them other recommendations in order to increase the order value, but also give them something that they would be likely to buy based off of what they're showing interest in. So those are really, really powerful ways. And I don't think it's a surprise to see the stat here that, 760% increase in revenue can be attributed when you personalize your emails. I think it's something that's really important when you think about building a brand relationship and anticipating and constantly showing that you know your customer. The next section is post-purchase personalization. So just like it sounds, this is anything after the purchase. And I think, when Harshal and I were talking about the content, one thing we talked a lot about was that your customer journey doesn't end at purchase. So it's really important to continue that thread of giving a great experience after they purchase. I think one of the most efficient ways we're all realizing, especially with the current market conditions, is it's really important to get customers to come back and not only buy a lot up front, but get them to come back, and giving a great post-purchase experience is really critical to doing that. So we'll walk through a couple of examples, but on-site post-purchase offers we'll dive into, as well as order confirmation and shipping status emails. And these are things that, again, Shopify sends, but aren't customized with your brand and with product recommendations and other personalization. And then replenish emails, so following up with your customers after they've purchased something. And then I think a really big one is returns. So stopping that revenue loss and using it as an opportunity to even get the customer to do more with you, or at least come back the next time they'd like to purchase something, so that they come to your brand and have a great experience. So let's dive into post-purchase offers. So this is a great example. A post-purchase offer occurs after a customer has already submitted their order and before the thank you page. So you can see this offers here. Somebody gets recommended a product that's relevant to what they've already purchased, and then they're offered a discount. And as Harshal was saying, this is a great opportunity to learn, again, what kind of discounts your customers are really gravitating towards. So you can test things like a percentage off, a dollar amount off, just to kind of see how your customers are engaging and continue to learn. And you can also add in other pieces of urgency here, like limited time offer, customizing the text, as well as kind of a countdown timer to create some urgency. This offer will expire, in 5 minutes. And those can be really effective to not only create a great experience that's very personalized and relevant to the customer, but also to boost your AOV. As a brand, that's a really great thing to constantly focus on and continue to do. Some more examples of post-purchase emails that have been done really well are going to be in your order confirmation and your shipping updates. So it's really important to optimize these emails for a great customer experience and to encourage repeat purchases. So we take a step back and think about how your engagement rates are on bulk email sends, promotional emails versus order confirmations. No surprise that order confirmations and shipping updates get 10x open rates that any other email you send. And the reason is because people are anticipating them. They made a purchase, they're super excited, they're waiting for their order confirmation to make sure everything's correct, and also to find out when they're going to get this thing that they just purchased that they're so excited about. So it's really, really important to do this and do it well. So here are two examples of how you can customize and optimize these in order to include personalized product recommendations, personalized discounts. Let's say that, a new customer just converted for the first time and you want to reward them in your order confirmation email. You can give them a 10% off to shop with you again for being a new customer. And you can personalize that, again, showing that you understand where they are in relationship to your brand. So these are really, really important and can be really effective for not only creating a great experience, but again, really impacting that repeat purchase rate. Another post-purchase email that's really effective for repeat purchase rate and potentially AOV is a replenishment reminder email. So in this example, you'll see the brand offers sticky pad notes, and they know that after about 3 months, the customer is going to be ready to purchase again or need another pad. So they proactively send a trigger-based email out to the customer and say, it's time to replenish. And they give a little bit of a customized text there with the offer, the product offer that they need to replenish. And then they also encourage them to buy things that are relevant to that product, or that are things that they would likely buy based off of their purchase history. So you're not only encouraging repeat purchases of something that they've already purchased, you are also encouraging them to add more to their next offer. So these can be really effective. You can, of course, add in a personalized discount here as well in order to make them feel a little bit more urgency to make that happen, like they're getting more value out of it. Awesome. So I'm sure, we shared all these strategies and how you can implement them and some great examples, but I think, how does this actually impact your revenue and your bottom line? Harshal, can you walk us through this and how we should be thinking about where to look at the results?
Right. So personalization ultimately affects almost every metric. And some parts of it cannot even be measured or are not even tracked by marketers and founders. So if we have to specifically talk about which metric it is affecting directly, then there is increase in the conversion rate, which is the on-site conversions. Then we have the AOV, and then we have the LTV. Now, how does it impact? There are a lot of personalization engines that tries to optimize only one part of it. For example, a personalization engine can only optimize conversions. Now, the one which is optimizing conversions may adversely affect your revenue, because increasing conversions may lead to showing them products which are highly discounted or are not or are basically priced very low. So it is essential that you actually try to optimize both conversions and average order value at the same time. LTV is something which is affected a lot and depends on the implementation. For example, if you're talking about post-purchase experience, that is where LTV comes into the play. So if somebody has purchased something from your store and you want to increase the LTV, then you have to regularly send them updates with the relevant content, relevant products or discounts, so that they keep on coming back and making purchase on the website. So these three are the main levers that are affected by personalization and by the right implementation of personalization. If we talk about the current market conditions, so when the spending decreases or reduces, in those scenarios, people do not come back to the website. But if you're giving them a personal experience, they might come back as soon as there's an update. As soon as the spending starts, they're going to come back to your website first and make a purchase. So it is essential that you make sure that the experience you're giving them, whether it is on-site, off-site, or through the post-purchase flows. It is personalized. It is based on their requirements so that they keep that in mind. And whenever they want to make any purchase, they think of your brand first before anyone else.
Right. It's all about creating that long-term relationship versus those kind of quick wins, which you can have both, with personalization in your store. But especially now, I think making sure that you're top of mind and so that when people want to spend, they come back to you. Let's hop into key takeaways. So Harshal, can you, boil the ocean here and help us summarize a little bit more what we learned today and how to think about this as we try to move towards our personalization goals?
Absolutely. So ultimately, like I mentioned in the very first slides, I think it is about that we understand customers, we understand what they are looking for and what they want, and we show them the content based on that. So it is basically telling your customers that, hey, we are trying to create a relationship with you. We understand your requirements, and we want you to purchase from us or you to stay with us for a very long time. Then it is also about anticipation. It's about anticipating what the customer will want, probably not today, 1 month down the line or 6 months down the line. So there are different strategies which can come and which can help in this area, but it is also about anticipating what the customers and how the customers' requirements and needs will change over a period of time. If they came to purchase a certain product from you, they might be looking for a different product which complements it, probably 2 months down the line or probably 6 months down the line, and then you should be able to fulfill that requirement. Yeah. Then delivering the relevant product recommendations across journeys is very important. I think we touched upon on-site recommendations. We talked about off-site personalization. We talked about post-purchase personalization. One thing which we did not talk about was the returns flow. Now, returns flow is extremely important because returns is where people lose a lot of money. Money from people, money which actually was in their own account and it is going away, right? So it is very important to close the tab. And personalization can help in that regards. It can help customer show them different products they can replace the existing product with. That is one. But how many times has it occurred that I actually bought a shirt and I did not have a pant to go with that shirt, and I actually returned that particular shirt. So with smart personalization, we can actually show them things like shop the look, and we can, instead of losing money on returns, we can actually upsell and make more money out of it. And this is possible because we are trying to understand users' requirements, why they are returning the products, and then we are solving that problem instead of taking the product back. So these are different ways in which we can personalize, and ultimately everything boils down to increase in conversions, increase in revenue, increase in profits, which they basically put back into the business and grow it into a huge business. So this is what personalization is all about, and personalization can help them in any part, anything that interacts with the customer, whether it is emails, whether it is push notifications, mobile notifications, on-site recommendations, post-purchase flows, any flow that touches the customer directly can be personalized, and it can help them grow the store.
I love that example you shared, Harshal, around, creating like a return into an opportunity for new sales. I think when we were talking about this too, I was like, that's happened to me multiple times where I've returned something because it didn't go with something else. But I never thought, what can I add to this? I usually just kind of make the return, but in that return order processing, it's a great opportunity to say, here's something that might go with what you purchased, and use that opportunity to collect more data on your customers. So then the next time you can anticipate other customers' needs and stop that return before they would even start. So great example. Thank you everyone for attending and joining us today. We will send you the recording, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Feel free to reach out to myself or Harshal if you'd like any more information about Spently or CartHook and GLOOD.AI. Have a great rest of your day.